Some people say that the eShop is crowded. Some people say that there's too many Switch games. Well, Hamster CEO Satoshi Hamada has something else to say, and that's that he wants to release 800 Arcade Archives titles. What's going on, everybody? It's Zach from SwitchForce. Gabe is here. Famitsu talked with the CEO of Hamster, who have ported a lot of the Neo Geo titles on Switch. There's 50 Arcade Archives currently available. He wants 800. 800, Gabe!
Yeah, for anyone that thought that too many games on Switch was already a problem, Hamster wants to invade. The Hamsters want to invade, Zach. I don't know what we're going to do. Funny thing is, they're counting the Neo Geo stuff as Arcade Archives, even though they don't have that label, I guess. So far, the only ones that Nintendo kind of counts as Arcade Archives are the two Mario ones, but they want to count everything on here, and it's a lot. 800 is an insane number that I don't think I can get behind. Unless,
I guess the question here is, does that sully the waters? At what point is releasing all the games not a good thing anymore?
Well, the thing is, Nintendo's not going to let them touch certain things. Hey, any Zelda you probably can't touch, right? Any of the substantial Mario games that anybody wants, no, Hamster, it's not going to be you porting them over. So I guess it's the equivalent of eShop shovelware, right? And a lot of these games are really cool. I don't mean to discourage anyone from buying them. I'm not talking about the quality of the games at all. But the number 800, it's an insane number. At some point, you're gonna have to get some games that just aren't as big or aren't as fun on there, right?
Yeah, it's very strange, and it counters so much with the Virtual Console. How does this fit into that? And again, just to clarify for people, there are Arcade Archives Neo Geo, which is how the Neo Geo games on Switch are categorized, and then there's also the Arcade Archives that Nintendo themselves talk about, which is versus Mario Bros. And things like that. So this is all kind of under the same umbrella, and Hamster has ported both. They have done, Metal Slug, Fatal Fury, as well as Mario Bros. So they are kind of the people.
What if Hamster is the Virtual Console now?
Yeah, right? Okay, so far we know that they've got Versus, Balloon Fight, Clu Clu Land, Excite Bike, Ice Climber, Pinball, Punch-Out, Mario Bros., Urban Champion, Wrecking Crew. That's 10? 800? At what point? I don't know. Again, I am all for more options, but I also realize what has happened to Steam, and I don't think the Nintendo Switch is anywhere close to this, but I do not want to see a day where there's so much crap just being put out on Switch that eShop is not even palatable to look at.
Well, you're going to need to search and know that these things are available. Right now on the eShop, Arcade Archives, Neo Geo Polestar. I don't know what that game is, but let a week pass. This thing is not going to be discoverable on the eShop. You're going to have to know it exists and do a search for it. I guess part of me has to believe that they're making a killing on these, right? $8 a pop. You got to imagine that the porting of these games is relatively easy, and that they're making good money on it. If not, I don't think that he would say that.
No, I mean, I think he looks at 50 and is like, hey, we're making X, and if we multiply that by 16, we can make 16X.
Yeah, but, the reason this video exists now, the one we're making, is 800 is so many, Zach. Zach, do you remember this? I forgot if it was PAX, E3, or something like that. Me and you were in a hotel room, and I said, how many Pokemon can you say? Right? And you sat there and named a bunch. How many Neo Geo / Nintendo or arcade games can you name? 800 of them?
I don't think so. It's just silly, and I don't want it to get to a point. The indie market has thrived on Switch. We've seen things like SteamWorld Dig 2 sell incredibly well, even ports like Stardew Valley. We don't have numbers for everything, but assuming that Rocket League being near the top of the charts has sold well, Golf Story was kind of a little darling for a while. I don't want to see those quality titles get buried. And not to say that some old games aren't quality, but 800 is just too much. So
here,
let
me give you one more piece of context. Right now, if you go to the bestsellers on eShop, Arcade Archives versus Super Mario Brothers is number 3.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's impressive.
That game came out with zero promotion, zero excitement. It was just out one day, and it's number 3. The only things beating it are Odyssey and Rocket League.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, these things are working, so I'm all for Hamster making money. That's just a funny sentence.
And I'm all for good games coming out. I guess I just want some sort of plan. I want to know, like, is this it? Is there no plan? Is Virtual Console happening? I think we just need more info. And if they want to bring out 800, at least give us some semblance of understanding of how it's going to go down and what's going to go down.
We have to assume it's 800 in the lifetime of the Switch, right? Like, it's not like, hey, we just want to throw these out there as quickly as possible. I don't think that's what's happening.
No, and someone on Reset Era made an interesting point, which is that there's over 150 arcade archives on PlayStation 4 in the Japanese store. So, like, it's not like it's not like, okay, that would be impossible, and these things can kind of slip under the radar. But yikes. Let us know in the comments down below how you feel about 800. Do you want just as many games as possible on Switch, as many classics as possible? Do you think that this takes away and dilutes a potential Virtual Console? Do you think that Hamster should get their own eShop icon so that we don't have to deal with 800 of these? How do you feel? Let us know in the comments down below. We'll keep you posted if we hear more. Hopefully we get more on the online, on the Virtual Console, and on Hamster's plan to take over the entire Nintendo Switch. In the meantime, everybody, thanks so much for watching. Fantastic day. For myself and Gabe, SwitchForce out.